Okay, guys, now that you have your company set up and your tax set up correct, the next part of the CIA system is your insurance. You are ready for the I in CIA. Now, as we mentioned earlier, your company is set up to protect your personal assets. You'll set up your insurance to protect your financial assets. So insurance helps you protect your company against accidental financial losses so that an heir or somebody even accusing you of an heir doesn't put you right out of business. Imagine with me for a minute, if you will. You work hard for years and you build a great company and a great legacy for your family. And one day someone comes in and makes an accusation against you. Or maybe you did something wrong unintentionally and it harmed somebody. Guys, your whole business, all that you worked for and all that time can be taken away from you that fast, just for something as small as that, because you don't have insurance in place. Good insurance is the way to protect that from ever happening. It is a way to help you sleep at night, knowing that your company and your family have really nothing to worry about. And I really want you to keep in mind something as we talk here about insurance. You don't actually have to do anything wrong for someone to sue you or to make a legal claim against you, even if it doesn't get to a full lawsuit. In the US, anyone can sue you for any reason they want, whenever they want. And if they do, you have to defend the case, as crazy as that may sound to you. And perhaps the worst part is you may be found financially responsible and have to pay and maybe get a judgment against you, even if you did nothing wrong. My friends, juries in the US can go rogue. Judges cannot see the facts the way you see them, and it happens all the time. So we want to make sure we have good insurance in place to protect us. It's important also to have a good broker that understands your business. He can literally be one of the best allies that you have and friends in your business. Insurance and a good broker can take so many headaches away from you if used properly. So let's go back to Irene from a bit ago in her interior design business. So let's change the facts a little bit and say that Irene had the LLC set up when she went to Susan's house. She knocks over and breaks that $100,000 vase. Well, as we discussed before, on the bright side, her personal assets are no longer at risk because she has her LLC set up, but her business is still responsible financially for the vase. So how will she do that? Well, poor Irene did not have good insurance, which means she didn't have any protection against this accidental surprise financial loss. Irene also didn't have $100,000 sitting in her business account, so she had to lay off her 2 employees and sell some of her design equipment to pay for the vase. And this puts Irene out of business or starting over from scratch. If instead Irene would have had insurance in place, it would have paid for the vase, and she could have just continued on as if nothing happened. She could have preserved her relationship with Susan, and she wouldn't have experienced any financial loss at all. So what kind of insurance do you need? I bet you're wondering that. I bet that's the next question. Well, the main 2 types of legal claims someone can make against you in a coaching, consulting, info product type of business. And these are the legal claims that would result in some kind of financial loss to your business. They are a tort and a breach of contract. So a tort, it's just this fancy legal word. It's when you injure somebody or their property, and that's whether you meant to or not. And then a breach of contract simply means one party didn't hold up and their side of the deal. So for coaching and consulting type businesses, there are 2 main insurances that you want. You want general liability insurance, which covers most tort claims, and then you want professional liability, which covers breach of contract claims, most breach of contract claims. So a little bit further about each of these. General liability insurance, also referred to as GL, it covers sort of the most common business risks, like a person's injured or someone's property is damaged by you, or it also typically includes advertising injury, and that would be claims made against you and your business for things like stolen ideas or copyright infringement related to advertising. So in addition to Irene's example, where she was at a client's house and knocked over a vase, some other very common types of claims someone might make against your business that a GL policy would cover is Let's say you accidentally spill a bottle of water on your client's laptop and you ruin it. And actually, they lose a lot of business as a result because their entire business runs on their computer. Or you launch a new website or an online product and someone claims you copied their ads. Or you have a live event and one of your customers slips on a snag in the carpet at the hotel where you're holding your event and breaks a leg. You see, in this example, and this happens literally every day in businesses, you actually did nothing wrong. It's not your space. You're not negligent. But if the person needs money to cover the medical bills, believe me, you're on the hook. And the hotel and all of their all event spaces in their event contracts shifts the liability from them as the owners and operators of the event location to the person holding the event, and that's you. Similarly, if you work from home or you have an office and your courier comes to drop off a package, let's say at your home or office, and he slips on ice on your driveway and breaks a leg, again, your business is going to be responsible. So one cool thing that a lot of GL policies have, and you should check with your broker to ensure that yours has it, is what's called a no-fault med pay. And this med pay will pay expenses for an injury on your property or at your event, no matter who's at fault. So for example, in the last example, where somebody a courier was delivering something and tripped and broke their leg, your no-fault med pay will step in and pay for these people's medical expenses up to a certain limit, usually about $10,000, no questions asked. And if you have a business where public is coming to your events or to your property, this med pay can literally be a lifesaver. Because if someone calls you and says, I fell and was injured at your property or your event or whatever, you can be very kind and very apologetic. You can stay on brand and simply say, I'm so sorry. We have insurance for this type of thing. Let me have someone reach out to you. And that's the end of the story for you. It puts the insurance company in the place of working with your client or working with the courier and deciding how much to pay, whether to pay, and it keeps you as the business owner out of it so you can focus on your clients. So we love GL insurance because it covers all these types of claims, these tort claims. But guess what else it does that is super amazing? If there's a claim against you, it will, in most cases, hire a lawyer and pay your legal fees and also the settlement, which is amazing. So the first thing I do when somebody makes a claim against one of my clients is I say, turn it over to your insurance and don't worry about it again. As a business owner, can you see how this would let you rest easy knowing someone is now responsible to handle legal claims and you can stay focused on your customers and you can stay focused on growing your business and you don't have to worry about accidental financial loss or how much you're going to pay because your insurance policy will cover the claim. And I say this in most cases because insurance policies have a lot of exclusions that you'll need to understand. But anyway, so that's GL. There's also professional liability. So your GL policy covers personal injuries, damage to property, advertising claims, but your GL policy will not cover a breach of contract claim. For that, you will need professional liability insurance, or what's also called errors and omissions. You often you often hear this referred to as E&O insurance. So what does E&O cover? Well, look, if you intentionally breach a contract with one of your clients or a vendor, no insurance policy is going to protect you. But if you make a mistake, your professional liability, your E&O, should cover breach of contract claims and lawsuits related to work errors and oversights, undelivered services, missed deadlines, budget overruns, incomplete work, that type of thing. So in the case of a coach, it would be for something like someone believe you've caused them harm by taking your advice. They took your advice and harmed them or their family, or someone believes that they paid too much for your product or services and they didn't get the results that they believed they were going to get, or someone accuses you of sexual harassment or breaking the confidentiality clause in your agreement with them. And guess what else your E&O, your professional liability insurance includes? It includes a duty to defend you, which means, once again, it will cover your lawyer's fees, your court fees, your expert witness fees, your settlement costs, and your court judgments. Your E&O insurance, nearly all E&O policies have a duty to hire you a lawyer, provide a legal defense to claims against you, and then to pay settlements. How amazing is that? And remember, guys, what someone accuses you of doesn't have to be true. You still have to respond to accusations if made in a legal claim. And if you don't, you will get what's called a default judgment against you, which means the other party gets an automatic win. So let's go back to our favorite small business owner, Irene. Even though she broke the vase, Susan still loved Irene's work and decided to hire her for the kitchen redo. From the time Irene gave the estimate on the kitchen redo to the time she did the kitchen install, the cost of lumber had doubled. And so the cost for the kitchen redo went way up. Well, Susan was furious and made a claim against her, basically had a lawyer write a letter to her saying that if you don't keep it at the same price you estimated, I'm going to sue you. But the good news is by now, Irene has implemented the CIA system into her business. And this means that she had good professional liability, good errors and omission insurance in place. And you know what Irene did? She simply turned the claim. She turned that legal letter that she got from this lawyer, Susan's lawyer, over to her insurance, and she never worried about it again. They handled it all. So some other types of insurance that you may want to talk to your broker about is cyber liability insurance. That will help you avoid financial loss if there's some sort of leak in data, if you lose income actually in some kind of a computer hack or malware attack, and you lose business as a result. It will pay the lost income that you experienced. It will also, let's say you have an entire course built online and it gets destroyed by some cyber bug. This insurance will also help step in to help you replace it. So cyber is an important policy these days, depending on your types of business. Also, life insurance for the leader of the business to cover his family or her family in the event of an untimely death. Disability insurance for the same thing. And then there's also something called key man. If your business has employees and you want to ensure that they have some continued pay if something happens to the leader, you'll want to get key man insurance. And there's lots of other types of insurance out there, guys, that can offer you protections for different risks that you have. And that's why it's really important to talk to a broker, not to just go online and Google what kind of insurance you should buy and then buy it. You want to find a broker that will build a relationship with you, that will help you understand your business, and then he can make sure that your policies cover your risks. And then finally, how much should you pay for insurance? Well, prices for all these insurances vary, but none of them should be so high that you can't afford it. I actually believe that you can't afford not to have any of these insurances. I would guess for most of you, you could probably get all of the insurances I talked about for less than $2,000 or $3,000 a year.